confidence. Where do we get confidence from? Because, when we start off, typically, at least for me personally, I had zero confidence. So how did I build that? How do we get more of it and continue to increase in it? Because it affects a lot of areas of life. Well, that's what we're talking about in today's episode. So strap in and get ready for episode 095. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hello, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody. I will be your host today. And before we dive into today's episode, I'm going to say it, head on over to bonestobulk.com. Why? Because I created a free training for you. It's right there on the homepage. You can't miss it. It's about 15 minutes where I sit down. It's a video. I sit down and I lay out 3 things that I wish I had known when I started, because it would have saved me so much grief, so much wasted time. So go check that out, bonestobulk.com. You won't regret it, trust me. All right, with that being said, let's dive into today's episode. So confidence. It's something that it's a little bit like motivation, because there can be days when I absolutely am just radiating confidence, at least it feels like. And then there's other days where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not doing anything right. I'm screwing everything up. So it does come in waves, but there are some definitive ways to grow confidence. Now, when I started my fitness journey, I had probably 5% confidence, and that's probably being a little gracious. I was not a secure person. I was not. I had so many insecurities. I had so many doubts. I had so many misgivings about myself, and that just stemmed from so many different things that happened to me in my life. And one of which was my body, the way I looked, how skinny I was. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like all my lack of confidence stemmed from them. There was a lot of other things, but that was a big one. And so when I started off going to the gym, and I felt so out of place because I felt like everybody was staring at me. I felt like I was doing everything wrong, which I was doing a lot of things wrong. And it didn't help. If anything, it kind of just degraded that confidence even more. So how do we, if you're facing that, if you're struggling with confidence, and maybe it has nothing to do with the gym, maybe this is confidence at work, maybe it's confidence with getting up the courage to go talk to that girl that you're into, maybe it's confidence that you could be a good parent, like whatever it is, we can all probably do with some more confidence. Now, don't get me wrong and mistake confidence for cockiness, because those are 2 completely different things. Confidence is being secure in yourself. It's knowing who you are, it's knowing what you're capable of, but it retains a humble spirit. For instance, if I'm confident I can do something, then I can just go do that. I don't have to tell someone I'm going to do it. I don't have to make a big show of it. I'm just confident that it's what I need to do and it needs to be done and I can do it and be quiet about it. Cockiness is when you know you're good at something and you pretty much make a show of it. So 2 totally different things. And so how do you build confidence? It's not as complicated as you would think. And I can really sum it up with one secret. Are you ready? Just do it. Now, no, I'm not stealing Nike's slogan here, but you've got to just take the step. And I know that doesn't sound like you're like, well, why don't you tell me something I don't know? Like, I want to take the step and I can't. Here's the deal. There's something in your life right now, probably, that you are questioning. Should I go for this job interview? Should I move here? Should I go to this college? Should I date this girl? Should I marry this girl? Should I have a kid? Like, there's a question out there. There is. I guarantee you there's something that is on maybe not the forefront, but at least somewhere in that mind, and you're debating like, what should I do? Well, guess what? You will never know unless you just act and take a step. Because you can sit there and you can play that game of maybe this and maybe that and maybe this and maybe that till you are dead. Like literally, you can sit there and do that for the rest of your life and miss out on opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Because guess what? People are always like, oh, I'm waiting for a sign, or I'm waiting for God to open the door, or I'm waiting for, to have enough money, or I'm waiting till I'm more secure in life. Like, we come up with all these bullshit excuses. And guess what? That's all they are. They're excuses. Every single one of them. Because we have every capability within ourselves. We do. Every single thing that you need, you're capable of doing. But what it comes down to is, are you willing to take that step, to be very, very, very uncomfortable taking that step, but still be willing to take it? Because when you take that step, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel comfortable, but it's going to push you forward. And even if what you're stepping towards doesn't work out, guess what? 2 major things happened by you stepping out. 1, you got rid of that question of what if, because you got an answer by stepping forward. 2, you built confidence by taking that step. Because you took that step, you were secure in it. You were secure in that decision, and you moved forward. And guess what? It's like if you're playing a video game and you have to build up a certain amount of points for something, and you get to a certain level and then you become invincible or something crazy. That one step gets your meter up of confidence, and it makes it a little bit easier to take a step towards something else. And then that meter goes up a little bit more, and it becomes easier and easier to take those steps because your confidence rises with every step you take, because you can look back and say, that may have not worked out how I wanted to, but I'm so glad that I tried it or that I took that step. So I probably will be glad that I'm taking this step as well. And you have these experiences to fall back on. The problem that so many people I know, and it breaks my heart, it does fall into, is they live for the next year, or that time, that magical time that's going to happen when everything else stops and they have time to focus on. Guess what? That's never going to happen. If anything, life is going to get more busy, more crazy, more hectic. You're probably never going to feel like you have enough money or have enough time or whatever. Just take the freaking step. That's it. That's it. And I know it sounds so easy, and I know it is hard. It is very hard to take that step, but you have to understand, nobody else can take that step for you. Nothing else can propel you forward, can take you to any dream that you want, any aspiration that you want, without you moving that foot. And what it really boils down to is, how badly do you want it? Do you want your life to stay the same as it's always been? Are you perfectly content with where you're at? Like, if you're happy, if you're 110% happy with where you are in life, don't want anything else out of it, then just stop listening right now. Good. Enjoy your happy life. For real. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything, but if you are genuinely happy right now doing what you're doing, then do that. Because that's what this is all about. What brings you fulfillment and enjoyment? And the problem, though, is I see so many people who, they come to me and they say, I want to do this, I want to be this, and then there's that but. And it's that but is so small. All you have to do is take that step and it disappears. So I hope this encourages you to go for it. Who cares if you fall flat on your face? You will know once and for all whether it was a step you should have taken or not, and you will have grown more confident from it. And it will be easier to make that next step. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, no matter what excuses people tell you, no matter what excuses you're telling yourself, what lies you're telling yourself about waiting, just stop listening to them. You can accomplish any goal. You've got this.